Welcome to Emerging Franchise Brands, the podcast that introduces you to the visionary founders of America's fastest growing franchise opportunities. We'll also hear from industry pros as they share what it really takes to achieve the elusive milestone of 100 plus locations. I am your host, Frank Fiume, founder of I9 Sports, and my 20-year journey from inception to acquisition has given me a unique perspective on how to succeed in franchising. Join me as we welcome today's guest. Welcome to the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. On today's show, I have the founder of Brilliant Massage and Skin, Jolita Brilliant. Jolita, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Frank?
Great seeing you again.
Yes, it was great to meet you at the annual IFA convention.
Yeah, we had a chance to chat for quite a bit. I love your story, and I'm excited to do our episode here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you. All right. Well, let's start with talking all about Brilliant Massage and Skin. So would you share with the audience, first of all, how did you start this? Why did you start this concept? You do some things differently, and I love it. I want you to share with everybody what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. So I started in 2017 officially after I graduated massage therapy school here in Vermont. And I was just solo practitioner. And then I started hiring on other massage therapists. And in 2021, we opened a second location. To expand in this 10 minutes away from the downtown first location. And we also added aesthetic services. So I went also to aesthetic school in 2020 and 2019, and then 2020 finished. And then in 2024, Vermont being a small population state, I was thinking, well, what would be the ways to keep growing the brand? Because not really much space to open many corporate locations here. So franchising seemed like a natural step to go into other markets, Vermont. And that's what the plan is right now.
You just made it sound way too easy, by the way.
Well, it looks easy. Everyone looks at us or me and oh, I want to be a spa owner. Looks like you're having so much fun.
Well, yeah. Well, you're always smiling. So for that, I can see that why people would say that for starters. But let's go back to the beginning, because I think you're an incredibly resilient business owner and just really a resilient person. I mean, your backstory is fascinating, and I'd love for you to share kind of what brought you here. I mean, you came from Lithuania, right, as a 19-year-old, and remember your parents had just passed?
Yes. So I lost my mother when I was 16. She had cancer. And I lost my dad when I was 19 in 2007. And that's when I came to US right after that happened with my dad. And I think I was just traumatized. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of new, fresh start in a new place. And also my mother's dream was for me to come to US to study, and I followed that. I also played classical piano all throughout high school. So initially I actually thought I was going to be pursuing music in my life as a career, but I think when my parents had so much health issues, I really got interested into wellness and preventative health and self-care. And that's why I think I shifted towards what I'm doing now. And also I love being an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I think I got that inspiration from him too.
That's amazing. Well, I know they'd be very proud of you. What brought you to Vermont?
Well, so Lithuania is very similar weather like Vermont and 4 seasons. So I think it reminded me home. I like the Northeast region. I did live in New York City for quite some time. It just became too much hustle and bustle there. So I decided what is something more peaceful, and I didn't plan to stay here for as long as I've been here now. I think Well, it's gonna be now. It's 10 years already, actually. I think just the people are really nice, and I came thinking I was just gonna stay here for a little while, and then I just met my husband also, so that's the other reason, and I ended up staying in Vermont.
Oh, well, that worked out really well.
Yes, yes. So I love everything about it. We just need go to other states to grow the business more.
Sure. Well, I know you're going to do that. So I'm curious, what led you into the massage business? Because I know you want to put a focus on health and longevity, but when you came here, right, you came here as this classic pianist, and what made you go to massage then?
Yeah, so it's like I never in my life, when I was, let's say, in high school or until I actually started to look into massage therapy, prior to that, I never even had aspirations to own a spa or, be in this business. It sometimes, I guess, happens when we least expected. The life takes us to a certain path. I did took personal training certificate in my early 20s, and I was also a passionate runner. I did ultra marathons as well, like a few of those, and like weightlifting because of, being interested in longevity and wellness and
Sure.
eating healthy. And I thought I'll take a massage class just kind of to learn for myself and maybe have it as like an additional part-time gig I could do on not a full-time basis. But then I saw the demand and I made it into full-time job for
Hmm.
full-time endeavor. But I don't know why massage therapy, because it is flexible and it seemed like a good additional part-time job income. At that time, I didn't had like an actual real plan what to do with it. I love learning new things, and sometimes some things just we gravitate towards too, right? So
Right, of
it
course.
and it seemed like because I loved helping people, I loved the physical aspect, that it was like a movement and not sitting at the desk activities. So it was a combination of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're obviously somebody who always wants to grow and you're always looking to learn. I'm curious to know how far into working at the first spa, and you're the massage therapist, were you already starting to think, you know what, I'm going to open one of these myself?
So, I actually opened my solo studio right out of school.
Oh, okay.
For anyone else, fun fact about me, that I actually always been in some capacity self-employed. Like I never actually held like a 9 to 5 normal job.
Well, some people would say that you're probably not employable. You need to work on your own. You're not going to want to follow anybody else's rules.
I don't know if okay to follow rules. Like I actually was a very good student in high school and schools, and whenever I took courses, I do very well. I get, GPA and top grades. So I think I can follow the rules, but I don't know what is it about the business and entrepreneurship. I just don't want to be employed for anyone.
That's fair enough. I That totally resonates with me, by the way. So so when you're running your own spa for a bit, what prompted you to decide franchising was going to be the way you're going to expand versus opening up additional spas, right? Because you have two spas. And so how far along were you running yours until you decide, I think franchise is the right way to go?
Well, I was considering whether, this is something I'd like to get into. Why franchising? Well, I went to IFA's New York City International franchise show that they have, and I spoke to some people, and it seemed like the franchise community was very supportive. They also had a lot of education. I don't have a business degree, so I'm a self learner. And over the years, I've taken different courses and classes and I read a lot of books. Probably read most of the books there is on business. Um, but but it is the community that really solidified my decision to grow through franchising. Like I said, just like getting my CFE certification, that was helpful. Because if I was just to go grow through corporate, I'm not like a business executive where I was confident to just grow on my own. Like I feel like I wanted to be a part of the community and get that education and support first, but also the resources part. Franchising allows us to have, like a parent company with child companies that have their own, brings their own liquidity, their own business assets. And in that way, financially, it makes the growth ability, allows us to grow faster, gives us the ability to grow. I would think once we get the ball rolling, it's more opportunity for expansion through
Of
franchise
course.
and corporate.
Okay, we're going to get into the franchise, but I wanted to talk about your founder journey because I thought it was fascinating, and I really wanted the audience to kind of get the backstory of who you are and the I think the brilliant, as if I may use the term, of
Yeah.
course, entrepreneur that you are. So let's talk about Brilliant Massage. First of all, how did you come up with the name?
Yeah, so I get this question asked a lot. And actually, some people at first say, well, why did you call it brilliant? You're not like a jewelry, not a diamond, sales company. But well, actually, it came from Diamond in the Rough. Like we are coals and we become polished over time. So I felt like losing my parents and always strived to make the best out of situation and become the best I can be regardless of my circumstances. And that's kind of always stuck with me, like being brilliant, becoming from nobody somebody, that everyone can accomplish this. And that's why I'm passionate and I want to teach other aspiring entrepreneurs or people that would like to, maybe they're working in a spa but would like their own to own their own business one day, that you have to go after it and make it happen, and you can be brilliant too and don't give up on your dreams. So that's what it means to me.
I love it. I love when people come up with company names that have such a significant meaning to their life and what they're trying to create, or to, it resonates with their client. And that's what you did here. That's awesome. What about your business itself? And I know we talked about the uniqueness of Brilliant Massage because you are different and there are so many different spas that are out there. So share with us a little bit of what makes you guys different than the other spas that are around.
Yes. Well, from the very beginning, we had very high ratings and we're able overperforming thousands and thousands of services. We able to have 5% average rating. So customer satisfaction is very important, but the way we accomplish this is actually through employee satisfaction too. So at Brilliant, we really understand that our staff members is what makes us brilliant. And the success that we have, it is because of every single team member and their skills. So we have a system to attracting those type of employees. I believe we're able to pay them very competitive rates. We do eliminate in-person receptionists, so we train our therapists to check in and check out customers and build rapport that way with our customers also.
Mm-hmm.
That allows us to pay them higher commission, and plus they receive tips also, of course. So that is one of the ways that we are different. And we have developed proprietary systems with our memberships and the way our team connects and works on a daily basis. I think it's a little different than most other spas.
So Yolita, tell me about if when you're talking to people who may want to open a spa, who do you think is your target franchisee?
As a starting company, we are passionate to allow other spa professionals to get into spa ownership. So, any existing massage therapists or licensed estheticians, or perhaps spa managers, if they would like to now run their own spa, is ideal candidate for us. And we even have discounted franchise fees for them
Oh,
because it's being from massage therapist into, so I like to make that possible to other people as well. But not to say that, yeah.
I love it. I love it. And the other thing that you also do very differently than I thought was so smart is your expansion plans and the markets that you go into and why. Would you share with the audience on your sort of your method to your madness on why you pick certain markets on where you want to grow?
Yeah, so well, right now we are looking to grow in the New England area. We got registration with New York State, and we're able to grow in cities that are 50,000 people in population and up. And with the systems and processes that we have in our Vermont locations, and now our first franchisee opening in Stowe. Once we get into those other markets like New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Connecticut, and then East Coast, Florida, I think they're even going to be more successful than we are, because if we are successful in a small market with 2 locations in the small population area, then they will be able to be even more successful. So we're not, I guess we're flexible, with the
Mhm.
town or city they be working in, but we just want to see, in good neighborhoods with existing demand for massage therapy and skincare.
Sure. And you did share with me that strategically, though, you do love going into smaller markets where there's not as much competition.
Yeah, so exactly. So, we can go into any of those states, have a lot of pocket markets that is like 50,000 population. So it doesn't have to be like big metropolitan cities.
That's smart. Yolita, I think when it comes to business strategy, the two things that really stand out for me that you've identified is you're looking for people who are those spa professionals, right? Somebody who's in the business, they want to own their own business, that were like you, and going through the smaller markets. That is what I consider, that one of the books that I loved was Blue Ocean Strategy, where
Yes.
you're going where other people aren't going. So you're targeting the folks who are maybe in the business to get into the business, as opposed to somebody who's just looking to open a franchise. And then the markets that you're picking is also really, really smart, because there's a lot of red ocean, right? There's a lot of competitors in those bigger markets. So by looking, yeah, so for looking for spa professionals in smaller markets, it's going to allow you to start growing really, really quickly in those areas.
And we're looking to create differentiation with that. Like you said, we're not looking just for investors. We're looking people that are also passionate about the industry and the services that we're going to be providing. And, there is a lot of that in the niche of people wanting to own their own spa, and in some of these smaller cities and towns, and also people that maybe don't have such a very high net worth. We're able to work with them. Our build out cost is not exorbitant. It's very approachable, and we do have also financing opportunities in house and different vendors we can work with, whatever is best solution for the potential franchisee.
Okay. Well, what is the investment range to open a location?
So, the range that we have, it could be anywhere from 120 to 250,000.
Okay.
That's going to depend also whether we could find a second generation location, like a real estate, where maybe we don't need to do such extensive build out. We can work with what we can find, maybe just do minor work such as painting, maybe flooring, and so that could be that range. But then we would like them to have, whether they don't have to have all that in cash also, at least if they have like maybe 30%, we can finance the rest.
Okay.
And on the square footage, it would depend, they could start. Also, there's an optional, they start with less rooms, treatment rooms, and then maybe they can double the size or open another unit. So there's a lot of room for that too.
And what would you say is the average kind of square footage of a footprint? And how many rooms would that include?
So minimum rooms that we would want to see be 5 treatment rooms and then go to 10 treatment rooms. It will depend on their demographics and the density in the area, but we could work with smaller or bigger. Even pop-up location, we're now able to entertain like 1 or 2 treatment rooms just for very, very start and then move into bigger locations.
And like the overall square footage is probably somewhere in that 1,200 to 1,500 square feet then?
So it would be 12 to 15 to 2,000 to 2,500.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of thinking this through. I'm a franchise owner. I know that the way for my business to be successful are the therapists, right? They make or break the business. If I have a great massage therapist, that they start building a following, I'm going to have more and more clients. This is what it comes down to, right? That's the bottom line. So what do I need to do to make sure I'm attracting the best massage therapist into my business? Am I training people right out, or am I getting people right out of massage school, or am I trying to get people to come from other places? What's kind of the strategy?
Yep. So the best strategy to attract high quality massage therapists is to be a highly rated massage and skincare spa, because good therapists, they want to work with other good therapists and with management that is great. They, obviously, if they're good, they know their value. So if they read the online reviews and it says, oh, like this spa is not so great, or the reviews goes not just for customers, it goes for the employees. When they decide where they want to work at, they're going to investigate the brand and the systems and processes that the brand has, and also the compensation is a part of it. More seasoned therapists, they want to have more competitive pay. People right out of school, maybe they'll accept a lower commission, but the way to attract is to pay them fairly, so that way they don't leave after they, got some experience. Let's say they came right out of school. First year they work for you and then they leave, then you have high turnover.
Mm,
But if you pay them fairly and you have good systems processes, they see the value staying with you because you're providing them good clients, you providing them, good management tools. It's a pleasure to work with in the space. And then they invite their friends to work with them and their, contacts, like referrals. So I think just being good employer, and that is the best way in my opinion.
sure. And having that strong culture. I'll admit, I know nothing about the spa business. So I was kind of thinking, I was curious, am I bringing in, are these people independent contractors, or are they employees? But it sounds like they are employees of the business then.
Yeah, so they are employees, and the definitions or regulations can vary from state to state.
Okay.
It's a little bit different, can be different based on setup of each state. But for the most part, I think if you're providing them the space, the tools, the marketing, they are going to be considered an employee in most states, most cases.
Okay. What would you say is like most important for me if I'm the franchise owner? What are the traits I need to be successful? Am I out spending more of my time on the marketing and getting clients, or spending more time, or are you expecting me to be working at the spa day to day, overseeing the business?
So as an owner, I think your main job is going to be being the rainmaker, bring in the leads,
Hmm.
having the marketing dialed in, and that's where our system and processes come into place. We have really over the years, because we're not just a new business. We've been true and tested over the years through COVID. After COVID, we've been successful. So we have templates, for Facebook ads, Google ads that our franchisees could copy. And that's what their time is going to be best spent on.
Hmm.
Maybe going to networking events. Like day-to-day operation actually doesn't require that much work. And actually this business, once it's set up and running, it can be, I don't like saying it's a semi-absentee because it's not at the beginning, especially. But later on, it is. And the best is to make sure these clients coming through the door, but that's the memberships benefit also that we have. So
Oh,
it
okay.
that retention.
What's the membership? How important is that in growing the business? Is do you see more and more of the membership base growing, or is it one-offs?
We have a good membership growth over the years, and we have both non-members and members, but our members percentage every year over year is increasing as we
Hmm.
are operating. Vermont being a state that has high transiency is we do take clients that are not members because we
Sure.
do get a lot of tourists here, and for snowboarding and skiing, people that don't live here all year round, maybe they live here part-time of the year. So we have variety of clientele, but so the membership levels might depend on based on what city you are and what kind of clientele there is too.
Okay, cool. What about the kind of franchise owners that we're looking for? Are they strictly single unit operators, or are you willing to sell multiple franchises, like to a multi-unit operator?
Yep. So willing to sell multi-unit operators as long as, they are going to be committed. I was just listening to video the other day. Another franchisor was talking about how they did a study on who was more successful in a long-term franchise ownership, whether it was just the investors with high net worth that just like set it and forget it,
Hmm.
like many units, or the people that were more like owner operators. So over long term, actually owner operators are more successful. They see more success in these units. So I think as we start to grow, maybe our idea is to make sure that we onboard the right franchisees, but if they think they can do successfully multi-units without, losing any of that attention, then that is great. And I wanted to go back to mention also for smaller square footage, like, so that would apply for people that maybe want to do services themselves. They could
Hmm.
get away with a smaller square footage at the beginning. But if you're only more investor, then I would say start with bigger square footage. We would start them with bigger.
Okay, all right. Wow, let's see. So, Yulitha, you've been doing this now for, well, at least 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Are you seeing any changes over the 8 years of trends on what the clients want now, or is there any interesting trends in the industry that you're aware of, and how you're adapting your business to it?
Well, I noticed that Uh, the labor market have changed for sure, and not just in our industry, in many industries. So I think it's now more important than ever to ensure employee satisfaction also,
Hmm.
to have that retention high. And I think that's what our system was already from beginning, focused on that. And then clients, year over year, they understand that preventative care, self-care is worth more than waiting when things go bad, when they now need more invasive interventions and medications and surgeries. So people overall, I think, are becoming more wellness oriented in their everyday life,
Hmm.
and life work balance and mental health, meditation, relaxation. I see that growing, and I think that's why it's a great industry to be in. And now we have also a lot of older population, like boomers, and they are retiring and they have extra time to take care of themselves and seek these services out.
Okay, Yolita, you are a visionary entrepreneur. You've proven yourself, and I'm pretty confident that you have a big vision for this company and where you want to take this. So what is that vision for the company? Where are we going with this?
So I would like to make spa ownership possible to as many people as there are dreaming about it. Our goal right now is to make ourselves known and reach those people. Because when I started the business, I started hiring other people on because I enjoyed working. I wanted to work with other people. I didn't enjoy being just alone as a solo practitioner.
Sure.
It gets pretty lonely. And when I created spa, initially I wanted the place that other people would if that I would enjoy working in it. If I was an employee, that I would enjoy being in it. So the
Hmm.
same goes for our franchise. I want to grow a franchise that our franchisee is going to feel like they're valued, that if I was a friend, I want to treat them and coach them in a way that if I was starting, entrepreneurship or business, I would like to have systems and processes delivered the way, we will deliver,
Hmm.
hopefully. So that's the main thing for growth. And I believe when you do provide quality, then business is going to keep growing. If you have good product, systems, processes, there's demand for services, the numbers will follow. And our goal is to expand first, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, New England area, down the East Coast, and then maybe Northwest and then Midwest, and we'll see what happens.
When are we coming to Florida? You didn't mention the Southeast.
Yes, so Southeast, yes, so a company that I am doing consulting now for, actually, they're having me as their spa consultant. They're considering to possibly transition into our brand. So
Okay.
we might have a location there. We'll see what happens. Might be pretty soon.
Okay. Actually, well, you know what? For maybe another episode we should do together would be to talk about the conversion business. Not a lot of founders have done that where they've converted existing businesses into one of their franchises, but we'll save that for another show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right. That sounds great. Well, I do want to circle back to what your vision is. And the thing that stood out to me is that you pointed out it was all about the people, that you were providing an ownership. You were providing an opportunity for people to own a business. And I think that's beautiful because everybody has a different vision for their business. Sometimes it's the numbers on how big they want their business to be, or it's how many people they want to impact on the end client. But we do know that unless we are taking care of our franchisees, nothing happens. Nothing good can happen unless we put our franchisees first. And I love that you made that your highest priority.
Yes, it is. And I'm gonna work day and night restlessly to make
I know you do and you will. That's awesome. Yolita, if someone was interested in learning more about Brilliant Massage and Skin, where would they go?
brilliantmassageandskin.com/franchise or franchise.brilliantmassageandskin. Either way, you'll reach. And I for one-on-one calls, they can schedule through the website. They want to chat with me directly, ask any questions they might have about spa ownership. Also, monthly free webinar they can join. Even if they're not sure if they even want to get into franchise business, welcome to join and find out more if that's something that would be possible for them.
Great. That's awesome. I love talking to emerging founders because they're still so readily available and able to talk to potential franchise owners. So that's great. All right, I got one last question for you. I always finish every podcast with the franchise tip jar because, as you know, the franchise community is so generous. And I know, I saw you at the IFA, and I know you probably got a lot of great info from other people. So I'm going to ask you, if you were somebody who was talking to a friend and your friend was thinking of opening a franchise, another brand maybe, what would be a piece of advice you would give them to make sure they're making the right decision?
Well, I would ask them, do you see yourself doing this for the next 10 years. Are you passionate about this sphere that you're going into? And I know that passion is not important to all people. Like some people just give me the numbers. I don't care what it is. I'll sell whatever.
Right, right.
But I don't know. For me, I would still kind of ask them, does this align with your lifestyle, with your, you know, your like personality or what you believe in? Like I could never be like I wouldn't want to be in some sort of like drug related business, for example. That's just
hmm
my personal, right?
hmm
Or like adult some sort of, entertain, like that's not my thing, right?
hmm
But for, so I would say ask yourself and then investigate the level of support that you're getting being part of the brand. I think the support and also the vision, is this gonna be still popular 10 years from now, or is this just a gimmick? Because there are gimmick brands, and if you buy into that, then you constantly have to wonder, is it time to sell? Is it time to sell? Like, is this already died down? Like we had
Right.
or like a yogurt boom and then a
hmm
bunch of them closed down.
Yeah.
So I would ask, is this franchise just a gimmick, or is this a long-term business that I can grow and have multiple units and not have to worry about selling? So that would be
Great
fun.
advice, Jolita. Thank you so much for being on the show. It was great seeing you again. I wish you all the best and continued success.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a brilliant day.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.